Alright, first thing I'm going to do is open the cover to the sump pump basin and get access to the sump pump. Alright, now that I got the cover unscrewed, I can get my measurements. Now I could disconnect all of this and pull the pipe out of the way and get the cover off. I actually don't need to do that because my sump pump is still working. But what I want to do is I want to get the overall measurement of the bottom of the sump pump up to where it goes into this coupling here. So I just want to get the overall height. All sump pumps are going to be, different setups. This one connects lower on the side, the new one I got connects on the top. But you want your overall height to be the same as it matches up here in this fitting right here. So that's the goal, is to make sure that the distance from the bottom of that to this, with whatever your replacement sump pump setup is the same. Alright, so now what I've done here is I got this essentially from the bottom. It's sitting pretty close to the bottom, but I'm measuring the bottom of that, and I made a mark on the pipe right there at 28 inches, which is above this cap, so I can actually lay this cap back down and get the rest of my measurements. So from the bottom of the sump pump to that mark was 28, and I think I'm going to be good with 5.5 here. I'm going to be well inside that fitting, and I'm on that line. So my overall height that I want to be for the replacement sump pump setup is going to be 33.5. So I'm good with that. That should give me the depth that I need and still have it very close to the bottom and pull out most of the water. So the one thing I did decide to do was clean out the basin. As you can see, I disconnected it here. This was sitting on the bottom of it. I used a scraper to pick it up in one piece. It's like a piece of cement. Sure, there was a lot of settling and sediment when the house was first built that accumulated on the bottom over time, and it was just time to get rid of that. But it's all clean now. The next pump should be in much better shape, not having to suck up ongoing sediment. I'm sure the pipes are much clearer than they were when the house was first built. So, alright, one of the things that I did here was I took the PVC pipe and the fitting that goes onto the new sump pump, and I used cement and put this fitting with it. So I still have a full pipe here, but I'm going to cut that off to length. Now that I have the fitting on here, I'm just going to screw this on. Some things that I did here is put plumber's tape on, so it creates a good seal when I screw this on. And I'll cut that off after I get it off. Now that I got this thing out, when I cleaned the sump pump basin, it was obviously it's pretty worn. So my backup sump pump that I was building is actually just going to be my sump pump. But what I want to do is I want to adjust this float. So on the new one that I'm putting the float on, I want to make sure that I have the same height coming off of it as the other one. So it's about 2.5 inches off the ground when this is sitting there. So I'm going to set up the same float to be the same way. What you want to do is you want to set this float, it's loose right now, you want to set this at the same height that this other one is at. This one rides up and it triggers it, and then as the water falls, it shuts it off. So this is going to do the same thing. This is a little long on the bottom, so I'm going to have to lower it to the same height, and then I'm going to have to cut some off the bottom, and then we'll be good to go. Alright, now you can see I got these about the same height. Same height off the ground, so this will start to travel up. Put that on, and then that'll fall off, and then this will start to travel up just like it did, and clip that on and fall off. So they're going to stop about the same spot, start about the same spot, so I should have the same experience. They are the same height, Again, different setup though. This pipe was longer because it met in the sump pump at a lower point. This one's shorter because the pipe was at a higher point, but this is ready to go in the hole. So I got the new pump set down in the hole. I got to align this plate or get it all level. What may happen is I got to see if it hits this pipe here, this drain tile. I'm gonna have to maybe cut that off just a little bit, and you know, we'll see. But it's close. I mean, it's just gonna dump water right on the top of it. Whatever, should be fine. But the float's on the other side, like the other one was. It's nice and clear. It's kind of in the center, so I think we're good to go. We'll see here. One thing with this fitting, it's pretty old and corroded. This is off the old one, so I'm just gonna do that with that one. I'm gonna put this new fitting on. This is what I got. It's identical, but I gotta put the check valve back in. I was having some leaking in my check valve. I'm gonna watch it here. It looks like I may have. I think I'm okay here. But my check valve was pretty corroded. Not corroded. It had a bunch of gunk on it, so I cleaned it off. I think it'll function better now. But this prevents water that, you know, they can't pump it clean out of the pipe, so this prevents the water from coming back into your basin until it runs again, and then we'll push it out. But it keeps some in the line that doesn't make it all the way out. So, but you want to have a really good fit for this and have this positioned really well. But yeah, this goes up when the sump pump is pumping water, and then it goes back down and seals the hole. Alright, when I put that check valve back in there, what I did was I just kind of made it clear, and then I just lightly tightened them equally on all sides, and just kind of put equal pressure. So I tightened this one, and then I tightened the one on the back corner over here lightly, and then I tightened this one lightly, and then I tightened the opposite one over here, and then I came back over here and tightened this one a little bit more, and then that one a little bit more, and then this one a little bit more, and then that one a little bit more, so it all has even pressure. So then now what I can do is slide this up into place. It's all set up, and we'll give it a test here in a little bit. Alright, so this is down in the hole now. I got this all hooked up here. I got everything all sealed. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take some buckets of water and pour it down in here and get this thing to fire up and drain, and we'll see how she does. Alright, we got this filled up. It's ready to go. It should be on because the float is as high as it's gonna be. Let's see what happens. There we go. It's running. Turn out the water. It's working. If it shuts off, we're good to go. There we go. It worked. Awesome. So got cable management going here. Got the wire run around, goes in there, so it's good to go. And then I have the extra one. It still works. So for some reason that one has a problem at all. I got this one on a backup, but I'm going to order a new one, so I have a permanently new backup. Another thing that you can always do with these things too is you can get a Y off of this pipe and actually put two sump pumps in there, one higher than the other. So if the first one fails and if water gets high enough, it'll trigger the other one and it'll go out. But you know, that's just how deep into this do you want to go? But that's the hookup of the sump pump.